Welcome to more ghosty stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It's Jim. Discussions in the afterlife. Got some stories for you. Back when Colleen and I started, we did not do our own houses often. We did everybody else's house. We were replicating what those people were doing on TV back in the early 2000s. We had all the gadgets, the K2 meters, the videos, the audio. We mimicked everything they were doing. Didn't go real well. There's a lot of bullshit on TV. I think we all know that. But as Colleen and I are marching around these houses, we got some common phrases. The most common is "help me." We would record somebody asking for help everywhere we went. I don't know why. It doesn't happen with our family groups because now, for the last 10 or 12 years, all Colleen and I have done is our own homes for the most part. We don't go out and do strange houses. We don't do weird properties anymore. And we do not get people asking for help amongst our own invisible family members, our group. But everywhere else, and we're strangers to these houses, which became evident by the second time because often we go and we do a house for somebody asked us to, or we asked permission to do some old house. And then we'd listen to everything and we do a follow-up. So we'd go back to the house a second time for the follow-up to try to ask about what we heard the first time. Now, one of the most common phrases is, "They're coming." The invisible people are warning each other that Colleen and I are about to turn the corner or enter another room. They're coming. There was a time that we would do a house 3 times, and some multiple times. A couple houses we did for a year, every week for a year. But the most common phrase on multiple stops is invisible people asking for alcohol. Is there a prohibition in the afterlife? I don't think so. Just last week, my friend Margie here in Panama, she recorded a family member talking about going and drinking wine, an invisible family member going and drinking wine. And Colleen and I have heard that for years. Our grandfather runs the studies, whether it's here in Panama or up in Pennsylvania. Our grandfather is in charge of these. He puts out food and he puts out a bar. They talk about alcohol, they talk about drinking, they talk about passing the bottle, they talk about flavors. It's a very common thing, but for some of these houses, there's no alcohol. And people feel comfortable enough with Colleen and I to ask us to bring it. I don't. And we did. We used to take a bottle. Nancy was with us a couple times for this too. I would take a bottle and some shot glasses, pour a couple shots and leave them on the kitchen counter. Just waiting for them to go empty. They never did. They never did. We had to drink it. But it seemed to temper the asking. Once the alcohol was poured, they weren't so quick to ask for it again. I don't know. There's hope. I've got a story I want to recite from a young fella's place that Colleen and I did years ago. It's got some really strong language. And it's not me. It's coming from them. So young kids, heads up. Tyler, he was a friend of one of Colleen's kids. His grandfather had died, and he wanted to know if his grandfather was around the house. So Colleen and I obliged. Went over and we started setting up recorders. I put one just inside the door to the left, I remember. And right there, we record a man beat up Jim. Fuck it. What the? I just walked in the house. I don't know. And another guy says, shoot him. Shoot him. And that was a fairly common phrase. shoot them. Why the nasties? I don't get it. Eventually, we moved to the second floor. I'm asking. I'm in the hallway on the second floor, and I state that I say to the hallway, you can come and talk to us. And a surprised male is recorded saying, "You can do that?" It does surprise him because the humans that normally live in that house can't. They don't. I go on to say we can't hurt you. I state that we can't hurt you, and a different man now picks up the conversation. He says, "I know." I ask, "Can you change the colors on a K2?" It's one of those little electrical meters that we saw on TV years ago. "Can you change the colors on the K2 meter?" The man replies, "No." And then I state, "Come right up and talk to us." And the man replies, "Not a fucking chance." So here it is. It's curious. We're recording him. He's having a conversation with me. I make a statement and he replies. But to come right up and talk to me? No. No, that's scary. That's scary for him. But their memory is just as scary. Us humans, us living people, we don't have anywhere near the memory that these people have. For instance, Colleen and I were in the house we called Forgedale. We did this place for the better part of a year. The owner was great, flipped us the keys. We learned so much in this place. We went once a week, and eventually we went on a Sunday afternoon. And I sit down in the living room. There's a recorder on the wall across from me. And I say, "Nice to be here on a Sunday." And I'm kind of saying it to Colleen, but really I'm saying it to the house. And we record a guy right across the room from me once. And he was absolutely right. That was the first Sunday we'd ever been there. We were only there once. We were always there Wednesday afternoon after Colleen got done teaching school. So he knew that. We had been going there for months, and he knew that we only did Sunday one time. On pronunciation, again, too, these people are so in tune. These invisible people. And this woman that I'm going to be talking about here, she's not a group member. She doesn't know us. She doesn't know Colleen and I. Nancy was with us. She didn't know Nancy. She didn't know any of us. We went to visit a friend of Nancy's and Colleen's, a house west of Landistor, Pennsylvania. And the house, it's a remarkable property. In the back in the woods of Pennsylvania behind this fellow's house, there's a spring. And the spring has been there forever. The indigenous people were known to use this spring. The guy tells us this. We go back and we look at it. Sure, it's a nice bubbly little spring and cool. We turn around and now we're walking back towards the house through the backyard. And I'm talking about the Indian tribes that lived in the area. And I say it was the Lenape Indians. There's an invisible woman walking with us. She instantly corrects me, saying the proper name, Lenape. She is loud and clear on a recorder, Lenape. She was not going to have me misname her people. She did say something else, but I don't speak Lenape. So, but we know she was indigenous. Super cool. Yeah. We get some great stuff. I got more coming up. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.